Billion body snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Right, so according to various reports, Manuel Charr is suing the WBA and Don King. Now, a quick overview for those of you who haven't seen my previous videos on this particular subject. Manuel Charr was set to defend after 3 years of inactivity since he won that belt. He hasn't defended it once, but he was set to take on Trevor Bryan this past Friday in Florida. Now, Manuel Charr versus Trevor Bryan. Firstly, this fight should never have happened in the first place, especially for this belt. This belt is meaningless now, absolutely meaningless. It's no more important than an area title. Let's be honest, it's absolutely abysmal. So anybody who says currently that Trevor Bryan is a world champion, have a word with yourself. I mean, honestly, have a word with yourself. But anyway, so he was going to take on Trevor Bryan this Friday in Florida, promoted by Don King. Now, according to articles, reports, and what it is that people are saying is that Manuel Charr's responsibility was to make sure that he got a travel visa from Germany to America. It was Don King's responsibility to make sure that Manuel Charr had a working visa so he can defend the belt, earn a bit of money. Okay? Apparently, Don King didn't apply for it. Don King apparently didn't book his hotel, plus other things. So if that's true, then Don King deliberately sabotaged this whole situation just to get Manuel Charr stripped. That's wrong, isn't it? That is wrong. But hey, Don King, he has a bit of a history of doing some boxing politics, shall we say. But the WBA allowed this to happen. The WBA awarded Trevor Bryan a vacant belt to fight against Bermane Stiverne. Bermane Stiverne, who's lost 3 of his last 4 fights. 3 of his last 4 fights. And the one that he did win against journeyman gatekeeper Derek Rossi, arguably he lost that one. He got chinned in that fight. He hit the deck, if I remember rightly. And he got beat up for most of that fight. But either way, he got a decision. But that's the point. Why is Bermane Stiverne fighting Trevor Bryan? Why? Because Don King promotes Trevor Bryan and Bermane Stiverne. It seems that the WBA were doing Don King a favour. That's what it appears, does it not? So I think Manuel Charr is absolutely correct. He should sue. Of course he should. If he has any kind of case. Because at the end of the day, a sanctioning body, the WBA, WBC, IBF, WBO, they're their own entity, aren't they? They can pretty much do whatever they want to do. It's their own house, their own rules. They can bend them, twist them, change them, whatever they want to do. And there's not too much anybody can do about it, to be honest with you. But it is a business. Money is generated. Therefore, if certain things don't go a certain way, you can sue them over some form of whatever act it may be. Some people may look at it as a Muhammad Ali act and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes down to it, honestly, I suppose the best comparison I can put it is if you have like 2 or 3 friends, you can invite them into your house, and one of those you say, no, you're not coming into my house. That friend then sues you for not allowing him or her into your house. But you're like, but that's my house. I can invite whoever I want into my house. I don't even need a reason for it. It's the same kind of situation. The WBA can pretty much do whatever they want to do. They're their own entity from a certain point of view. So how much of a case does Manuel Charr have? I have no idea. I mean, that's up to him, his lawyers, to look into it and say, okay, this is what happened and we were screwed. It was unfair what happened to us. But again, you could also look at it and say, but you've had that belt since defeating Alexander Usmanov 3 years ago and you haven't defended it once. Why haven't you defended it? If he can give valid reasons as to why he hasn't defended that belt at any point within 3 years, then maybe he does have some kind of leg to stand on. For me, he should have been stripped a long time ago. For me, the WBA regular title in all the weight divisions should be obsolete. Because there's no way you can look at the heavyweight rankings within the WBA, which are absolutely atrocious. They really, really are. Actually, I may actually have a look at the heavyweight rankings to see if they've changed within the WBA and do another video on that one. But Anthony Joshua, super champion. So according to the WBA, Anthony Joshua is the number 1 in the world. Number 2 in the world is Trevor Bryan. So out of all the boxers on the planet, Trevor Bryan is the 2nd best heavyweight in the world. Previously, it was Manuel Charr. Really? Really? Worst case scenario, number 3. Because maybe they could recognise Tyson Fury as number 1 or number 2. They could, but we know that each sanctioning body don't look at the other rankings. They don't care what they see. For them, this is their order of who's number one, all the way down to however long it goes. That ain't right, is it? It ain't right. The WBA are either very, very incompetent or they're on the take. How else could it possibly be? And the way that they're going, they've actually overtaken the WBC. We know the WBC do some absolute shady stuff. They really do. But the WBA are taking the piss on this one. It's almost to the point where it's obvious what they're doing. It's obvious that they were fully on board and had this conversation with Don King about screwing Trevor Bryan. Screwing Manuel Charr and awarding Trevor Bryan the belt. Because why else would you do that? There's no reason to do that, is there? Unless, of course, Manuel Charr, he refused to turn up, said, no, I ain't fighting. Okay, why did you refuse to fight? If that is a scenario. But for me, the biggest one is, why was that belt put on the line for Trevor Bryan versus Bermane Stiverne? Why did Bermane Stiverne deserve a world heavyweight title shot? Based on what? Based on the fact that he's a Don King fighter. The fans, the boxers, everybody involved in boxing should turn their back on the WBA. They should do that. Make it an obsolete title. But in order for that to happen, everyone's got to be singing from the same hymn sheet. That isn't going to happen. Too many people are afraid to make a stand. Do you think Joshua's going to vacate his WBA title and refuse to fight for it? Of course not. Of course not. Do you think that any other champion within the WBA is going to vacate their belt? Of course not. It isn't going to happen. Do you think anybody who is going to be awarded an opportunity to fight for a WBA belt is going to turn it down? Of course not. Of course not. That's why they can get away with it. Because there's not enough people who are willing to take a stand and say, this is wrong. This is wrong. WBA, you're no more relevant than the IBO. And let's be honest, the IBO is irrelevant. It truly is. Either way, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Manuel Charr. Does he have some kind of case? Potentially, yes. But as I said before, WBA, it's their rules. They can break them, change them, amend them. They can do whatever they want to them, really, because it's their belt. It's their sanctioning body. And if there's people out there who's willing to fight for their belt, they can just do whatever they want to do. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up. Subscribe. Catch you all in the next video.